Hey the gamers, it's Vicious Panda 37 here again. I wouldn't have thought I'd be doing another video so soon on Anthem, but there's been some good news, so I thought I'd better let you know and share with you what's happening. It's really good to see that the Anthem developers have been quite active on Twitter addressing people's concerns and talking about what things are getting fixed and what sort of functionality is coming down the pipe with Anthem. I found a really good article here on Polygon talking about 19 changes from the demo that will be coming in the live game. So some of these already address some of the issues that I've certainly complained about and others have complained about, so that's really good to hear. The first thing that will be fixed is voice chat with strangers will be on by default. So they obviously want you to be able to come in and talk with your team and communicate while you're on an expedition and things, so they'll be encouraging that. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. I'm a little skeptical on that one because I find a lot of other games, a lot of people don't have microphones a lot of the time, so I don't know how well it's going to work. I think that is one good thing with Apex Legends that's just dropped out, that they've got this mechanism for being able to communicate with each other without having to use the voice chat. It's certainly something I've always wanted to see in Destiny as well, certainly in the hub. The lack of any kind of mechanism for communicating with other players to hook up groups and things like that has always been, I think, a bit of a disadvantage, and especially when people don't seem to have microphones or don't seem to want to talk to each other as well. You know, it's a utopian ideal, I think, that voice chat, and everybody will have voice chat and everybody will talk to each other, but I don't know that the reality matches that. But anyway, that'll be turned on for the full game. The next thing is squad locations and status will be easy to find. Players will be able to keep better track of their allies in the full game. That is one of the things I found was difficult, especially with some of the controls being off screen. Was, you know, even just navigating towards an objective could be a problem, but certainly keeping track of people around you. So if they're improving that, that'll be great, and I think anything that helps keep the team together is definitely worthwhile. Walking around Fort Tarsus will be faster. Oh, thank God they are fixing that, because that was really, really bad. Super painful. I hope that they'll offer some more movement options. I mean, you know, the fact that I couldn't, like, there was like a little pond in the middle there, and in Destiny, I mean, I would just hop, you know, jump over that, run across the pond and jump over to the other side, you know, and you could shortcut things, but with Anthem, all you could do was walk. You couldn't even run, so if they're speeding it up, that's great, but if they added some other movement options like being able to jump and things like that, it would just help getting around that space a bit quicker, and I think that would be an advantage. It certainly would stop being such a detractor to the game, because it just slows the game right down at the moment. So okay, they're going to address some of the lagging and the tearing and things like that, so the frame rate will be fixed for console players. They're going to be locking the frame rate on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions to 30 frames per second. They were also talked about having done quite a bit of optimization and things like that as well, so I would have thought that being a demo, the game would be pretty well done at that point, because it's not a beta anymore. We're not addressing problems. It's, you know, pretty much showing off what's coming, but I guess that's not the case. I guess the demo isn't as polished as they were making out. So, or I guess we were assuming by the name. Promote to leader will be available for squads. So that'll be good. You'll be able to assign a team leader for your group. And it'll be especially helpful too when people leave the team as well. So you can, you know, if the leader happened to leave the group for whatever reason, you can then promote up somebody else to be the group leader. So, inscriptions will display correctly rather than 0%. Apparently this was a visual bug. I don't really know what that was about, but it's fixed. So, yay. Primer and detonator abilities will be more clear. So, this is something to do with the combat combos. Figuring out what can prime and what can detonate. So, I'm guessing there's combos where you can charge something up and then detonate it or something like that. At any rate, they'll be making some clarifications around those combos and making that system a little bit clearer, so that's all good. It'll be easier to see underwater. Yes, yes, that would be a good thing. I did find in one of the missions that there was an underwater section in a cave, and it was very freaking dark. I really wasn't sure where I was going. Initially I tended to go towards the light, which I think were those sort of electric balls or electric jellyfish things, which I'm not sure that was necessarily something I was supposed to go towards. Often I would just try and follow another player, if I could see like their name, and just sort of follow that. But yes, they will be lightening that up, so it should be a bit easier to navigate in those areas, so that's great. Inscriptions will be correct for the javelins. Okay, so I think they said that's something to do, as I understand it, with various weapons and things like that, that I think they may have originally had weapons and add-ons that were for particular javelins, but they're saying now that they have been genericized and they work for any sort of javelin. So that sounds fine. If they clear that up, that's great. One of the new javelins will be unlocked after the game's tutorial. So I know it took quite a while. I had to play it for quite a bit in the demo before I was given the option to unlock another javelin. And I think I picked the Colossus for that one, figuring that it would be tougher, and well, it didn't really turn out to be that way. But that'll be good. You'll be able to unlock a javelin a bit earlier on in the process, and I guess that'll give you some options to play. So it'll be awesome. Weapon and ability balance has changed. They've said some changes were made, but it's not the final balance. So definitely, the javelins felt like they were a bit underpowered. Certainly the projectile weapons were very underpowered, and yeah, the abilities were alright. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust up on those. I'm assuming this is based on feedback from the demo, so that'll be good to see how that gets adjusted. But pleased to hear that they're going to be adjusting that, because the guns certainly weren't cutting it. Crafting items and materials won't be purchasable for real money, so that sounds really good. Hopefully the microtransactions are going to be purely limited to just cosmetic type items, nothing that's going to affect the gameplay. So that's great. Crafting materials I think is important too, because you don't necessarily want to be able to dump a bunch of money to get materials and then go out and just craft whatever high level weapons you want. I mean, that's going to affect game balance, so collecting those crafting materials will be limited to the open play area where you go out and farm them and collect them and whatnot. So that sounds good. Yes, as mentioned, game performance will be much improved, so apparently there's been a whole lot of optimization. Still really surprised that the demo had not been optimized. I really would have expected it to have been, given that it was a demo. So I don't know what they're saying here. Are they saying that the build that was released was an older build? I would have thought, being a demo, it would be pretty close to release. So anyway, who knows what they're doing there. But yeah, they reckon it should be better. Again, I'd probably hold off on the pre-order, maybe just wait till it drops, give it a few days, and wait for the feedback to start coming back in from other players. Players won't be able to hold on to echoes indefinitely, so this is obviously feedback from the demo. They've had problems where you would go out and you collect the echoes, and then people would not take them to the repository, and that would eventually just stall the mission, so people were unable to complete it. So if you have the echo and you don't hand it in within a certain time, it goes back and then somebody else can pick it up, so that solves that problem, so it'll be great. Screen size can be adjusted. Oh yes, so good. This will fix the problems with not being able to get the controls on the screen and not being able to see the various HUD elements and things, so that's great. Really happy for that. Apparently there'll be a new social hub, the Launch Bay. Now, I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know if that's something I saw, but that's something that apparently has resulted from some feedback. So there'll be a new Launch Bay area where you can hang out with friends, use the Forge, reload, and grab new contracts. So that sounds great. All cosmetics are earnable with in-game currency. So they can either be purchased with coin, the game's earnable currency, so you can earn them within the game, or you can go and purchase stuff through microtransactions. But at either rate, you don't have to use the microtransactions, which I think is fantastic and frankly surprising for EA, so kudos to them on that one. Enemies shouldn't evaporate anymore. I gather this was a bug. I think I witnessed it a couple of times where hordes of enemies just sort of disappeared, or I think they call it teleport. But apparently that bug should be fixed in the release version. And finally, there should be some factions to work for. So they're talking about 3 different factions, I think: Arcanists, Freelancers, and Sentinels. I don't know what the differentiation is going to be between them, but you'll be able to work for them and have different allegiances with them, earn different resources and challenges and things like that from working with them. So all of these things sound really, really positive. It's good to hear that they are taking some feedback from people and not just ignoring us, and hopefully the game will shape up to be good. So we'll keep an eye on that one, and I'll let you know how it goes. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you found it informative, click the like, click subscribe, feel free to leave some comments below, and I'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching, bye.